Welcome back, Average Fam, to another episode of the Average Reviews, where the real review happens with your friends. I'm Tim.
And I'm Jonathan. And this week we're sinking our teeth into a film that was criminally misunderstood when it hit theaters, but has since risen from the grave as a cult classic. That's right. Today we're talking about Jennifer's Body.
When this movie premiered in 2009, the marketing team famously leaned entirely into Megan Fox's sex appeal. I was 19 when it was released, and that's what I remember. They targeted teenage boys, even though the film was written by Diablo Cody, fresh off an Oscar win, and was meant to be a biting feminist horror comedy with fangs.
Studio execs didn't seem to understand that this was Heathers Meets The Exorcist, not American Pie Possessed Edition. Because of that disconnect, the film kind of flopped on release, but not forever.
Not even close. Over the years, Jennifer's Body found its people. It grew into this beloved, blood-soaked revenge fantasy that's just as sharp with its eyeliner as it is with its themes. And it turns out the people who really got this movie were mostly women.
Which is exactly why we're so excited to welcome back a familiar voice with a new name, horror author, cultural critic, and unapologetic Jennifer Check defender, the one and only Jessica Lacy, a.k.a. at Blood and Lacy.
Yes, I'm so excited to be here. I think other than the live stream we did for Dread Broadcast, this is the first time I'm me.
Yes,
Woo!
it is.
This is awesome.
Yes, I am. The reason you're doing this movie is because of me, because I said you need to watch this. And I don't think Tim listened because it took a year to get here.
Well, you were right.
I'm really bad
You were
at
right
that.
to do so.
No, I knew Tim specifically would love this movie. I did.
Yes, and I will definitely get into why I love this movie. And I regret waiting so long to see it. So, Jessica's been with us before, but this is her first time joining us since the release under her name of Tastes Like Candy. So we're pumped to have you back. You are the perfect guest for this movie since it was your recommendation.
Yes, I am. And it's a fun one. So, yeah. Yes.
Yes, it is indeed. We're going to talk demons, desire, Diablo Cody, and why sometimes the best horror stories are the ones that don't center men at all.
So grab your low-rise jeans, your best eyeliner, and maybe a bag of salty popcorn because tonight, hell is a teenage girl. So I'm going to let Jessica, I want you to kick off the categories if you don't mind. This was your recommendation.
Yes.
I've only seen it the two times, so I can't talk too deeply about it. I can just kind of talk about my initial reactions. But I know you can kind of give us...
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to make sure I copied them.
Deeper.
I copied them directly off of the thing. So I've got story, plot, character, music. Is that the right order? Yeah.
Story is first. I'll help you with that. No.
Okay. All right. So my history with Jennifer's Body goes all the way back to the beginning. I saw it opening night in theaters. I was a huge fan of Diablo Cody. I loved Juno, and Jennifer's. She had written a book as well because she was a stripper before she was a screenwriter, and she wrote a book about that.
Oh.
Then she did Juno. Then Jennifer's Body was her I won an Oscar, I get to do whatever I want next movie, because that tends to happen. And she had been a horror fan forever, and this is what came out of it. And I had followed her career. I didn't care anything about any of the actors in the movie. I didn't care about Megan Fox. I didn't care about Amanda Seyfried. I solely went because of Diablo Cody. And probably 3 minutes in, I was watching it and I was like, this movie is going to affect me for the rest of my life. It's one of those movies that felt like it was specifically made just for me. And when it bombed, I was extremely upset because I hadn't super been following the sexy side of it. I had just been reading interviews from Diablo and from Karan Kusama and some of the cast members. But it was really tragic whenever it bombed because I was like, well, we're not going to get more of these now. So as it started to get more popular online and as it started to grow, it's just gotten really, really excited because people finally understand this movie, love this movie, and we're starting to see things. We're starting to see movies and also books that are inspired by this. And so we're finally getting more of these kind of bubblegum horror type of stories. And yes, Yes, I'm completely unapologetic in the fact that my novel Tastes Like Candy is extremely like heavily inspired by Jennifer's Body. I'm also reading a book called This Delicious Death, which is another one that was like it's supposed to be Jennifer's Body plus zombies in the desert. Like it's pretty fun.
Okay. Yep.
But I specifically look out for things like this, and there's certain tropes that I think are getting picked up and put into movies. I can't think of an example right now, but I know every time I see it, I'm like, oh, there's another one. They like to throw random best friends that are they like you see a lot of female characters in horror movies now where they have a best friend and you're like, are they or are they or are they? Kind of like what's going on with Jennifer and Needy in this movie. So I think there's little fingerprints of Jennifer's Body everywhere. Yeah.
I mean, recently we talked Fear Street. They definitely that was definitely a are they, aren't they? And the movie never told us, but I see that.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of exactly what I'm talking about. And it happened in a lot of places. And I think even something like the original Fear Streets, probably there was a little bit of Jennifer's Body in there because those were about actual lesbians that were out.
Yes.
But it still has that those have that bubblegummy kind of quality. And when I say bubblegum, I don't mean like light, fun, frilly. I mean feminine, girly horror that is also really fucking gory and bloody. It's like bubblegum with a razor blade in it. That's kind of the genre I'm talking about. And I think Jennifer's Body is probably the pinnacle of that right now.
I don't know that I'm super familiar with the bubblegum razor blade genre, but
you are.
No,
there's any like The Substance is one of them. The Substance is very bubblegummy. It's like female
bright
forward,
colors,
but also girly. Bright colors.
Yes.
There's a focus on makeup. There's a focus on fashion, but then somebody's getting gutted right next to it.
Okay.
And you see these like Slumber Party Massacre. That could count as bubblegum horror.
Okay. I love the first one.
Ginger Snaps, bubblegum horror. Like these things are like there. It's just they don't have a name for them. And
I like. Are you coining bubblegum horror? Because I like it.
I'm not, but I am. I got it from somewhere. I don't know where I got it from. But the thing, I think it was whoever explained it. It was a random YouTube video. If somebody randomly hears this someday and is like, Jessica Lacy's lying, she didn't come up with that. I don't remember who did.
Drop it in the comments if it was you.
I think it was like an old abandoned YouTube page. It wasn't an active, like somebody currently making videos.
Gotcha.
But they pointed out that torture porn, there were like 2 movies and there was a title for this. Saw and Hostel, and then suddenly it was a subgenre with a name sitting over there. Bubblegum horror has existed for decades, and there's not really a name there's not really a nickname for the subgenre. So let's call it bubblegum. It's either that or hot pink horror. I think bubblegum is more fun, so that's what I go with.
I like bubblegum.
They're both good.
They're giving you credit for it.
There you go. Smart.
I like bubblegum. Jonathan likes hot pink horror. Hot pink
horror.
No,
like you said, they're both good, and I'm down with bubblegum. It's just hot pink horror. That still sounds fucking rad,
It does.
I mean, and I definitely, that's what you write.
It is very
and
much.
I am unapologetic about the fact that I love the genre. You can suck me in, put a little bit of high school drama in there, put a little bit of relationship cliches, whatever. Give me some of that like hot gossip stuff to latch onto because it's fun.
It is. It's a blast. Fun. Jennifer's Body is a blast to watch.
Yes. So let's break down the story and correct me if I miss anything. Hop in on it. In Jennifer's Body, beloved high school cheerleader Jennifer is... We're going to be spoilers. This movie's been out for a long time, so you're going to get the full thing. Okay. Jennifer is sacrificed during a satanic ritual by a struggling indie rock band looking for fame. Shitty. Instead of dying, she returns possessed, supernaturally beautiful, but dead inside, and thirsty for the boys of her town. As her best friend Needy watches these deaths escalate, she must face betrayal, violence, and potentially kill the friend she grew up loving. Is that
that summarizes it very well.
Okay. I So you went on a lot. Do you have any comments on the story in particular?
The story in particular, the overarching, but this probably can fold into the script as well. But while that is the the little summary, we have two things going on here. We have a story about a girl who has essentially been sexually assaulted. The satanic ritual with the stabbing and the non-murder. She's supposed to be a virgin. There's a sexual component to it. I'm just going to call it sexual assault from here on out. And then there's a sexual component to Jennifer's kills too. So we're going to go with that. She's
we're demonetized.
Yeah. she survives sexual assault essentially, and she goes on to become a monster who's doing the exact same thing, because the boys that Jennifer does this to are not bad guys. They're not like assholes that you want to see eaten. They're nice guys, and like one of them is a grieving football player because his best friend died. So we're seeing
honestly my favorite scene in the movie, but mostly for the music. Anyway.
And see, I knew you were going to be all over the soundtrack too.
Oh, the soundtrack on we'll get there. I
can't wait for that part. Oh yeah,
we'll get there. Anyways, you're talking about the good guys,
right? So you have this one bit of the story that's about Jennifer and her sexual assault, and then committing these other sexual assaults essentially, and murder. And then you have this other story of these two best friends who are so close, and then they hate each other deep down, but they also love each other. So it's kind of an extremely complicated relationship from the get-go, because Jennifer's awful to Needy even before she becomes a demon. Not super bad, but she has a few little backhand comments that really, Jennifer thinks she's better than Needy, and I think Needy agrees. So you got those two stories within the umbrella of there's a girl that's a demon eating boys.
Yes. And it should be clear, the comment, it was like, well, I don't like SA movies, and it is more in metaphor than in actual depiction of what's going on. It's a metaphor for what's happening versus what's actually being shown on screen. This is not I Spit on Your Grave or Last House on the Left. Not at all.
She's stabbed, quote unquote, to death. So there's no actual sexual assault being shown, but just be a virgin. It pings that, like, that corner of everything, but I would not call this a rape revenge movie in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know how much else to talk about the story. Coming at it, so I watched it like 1.5 times. I had it on in the background today while I'm getting other things done because I had a crazy busy week. But I watched it Monday night, was immediately sucked in. I think I watched the unrated version.
Same.
So I did some research, and they are apparently two very different versions of the film.
Yes, I've seen them both.
Okay, so which one, in your opinion, is better?
The official version, I think, is better. I think that with the exception of the line that got cut, that Kyle Gallner's character looks like lasagna with teeth. Yes. That's not in the theatrical cut. That's the only thing that I missed whenever I was watching it. I think it's a little overlong, and I think it's not as punchy. It's not as like bam, bam, bam. So I do prefer the theatrical cut. That was one of my comments for editing, is that's all I have to say, is that I think that they cut out the right stuff to make the right movie.
Well, see, now I need to see the theatrical cut. Yeah. Because I didn't have any issues with the unrated. But I was also watching this unrated one going like, there's nothing in here that should be unrated. There's no, like, this movie, for as sexual as it is, there is no nudity. No. There's nothing, even the unrated cut. No. There's nothing. And so that's why I was surprised. I like double checked, and I was like, did I watch the unrated or did I watch the regular cut? Because they're like, it didn't strike me that this should be unrated. So I didn't even think the unrated was particularly that gory. But
from what I recall, it's not an unrated movie in the way that Terrifier is an unrated movie. It's an unrated movie in that the cut you watch never went through the MPAA. And from what I recall, there's like, it might be one of those situations where there's a couple of seconds of extra gore, but most of the stuff that's in the unrated version that got cut is dialogue.
Okay.
Yeah,
See,
like I said, the lasagna with teeth, that kind of stuff.
I love that part though, man.
I
yeah,
did too.
like that scene.
That mom just fucking going off on those stupid ass fucking wannabe goth kids. Like, holy shit.
I
Yeah,
love
I
those
don't.
kids. They were hilarious.
Oh,
I was
God.
dying.
Yes.
I was dying.
Yeah,
I got the monopoly on pain.
Yeah, they're not in the movie to that extent in the theater.
The high school emo kid in me loved that scene so much. I should be with you. So from what I saw, there's like a grand total of 5 minutes of difference between the two, as well as some changes. One of the changes being the beginning, starting with Needy in the asylum.
Did it not
So
originally start there, or did it?
that's according to the internet, that's how the unrated one starts. I have no idea because I didn't see the regular one, and the internet's full of lies. So I don't know.
The original one, it does start. Does it start with the murder? Hold on, I'm rewinding it. I have it up.
Well, so my point, while you look
Okay,
that up,
hell is a teenage girl is the beginning, and that's just Jennifer sitting in bed chewing on her hair, and then it cuts to
Needy looking in the window at her, staring.
yeah, and then it cuts to the prison or whatever.
okay. See, I think even watching the unrated, her being in the asylum hooked me. I thought it was well directed. I thought the dialogue was sharp and clever. I wanted to know why she was there because I knew just from the posters and the marketing of this movie that Megan Fox was kind of the antagonist. So I'm like, why is Needy in the asylum? What happened? So it worked for me. I thought that was a really nice way to start it. So I will mostly be talking about the unrated version because that is the one I saw. That is the only one I saw. Man, I just thought it was super clever. I don't think I've seen anything like it. I can't say I see a whole lot of the I don't know if the succubus or siren genre.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of those movies, and I've absolutely never seen one presented like this. So it's pretty original for me.
I feel the same way, dude. Like, it's not often that you see a female antagonist and protagonist at each other to such an extent. And man, it was kicked ass so hard. Fucking kick her. Watched her kick that doctor like halfway across the room at the asylum. I was like, oh shit, what is going on here? Holy cow, dude. And the story was not what I thought it was going to be from that point. I didn't know anything about this movie, what it was really about. I assumed that it involves like some sort of sexual assault situation with horror tones to it. But it was totally not what I thought it was going to be. And it was pretty badass. I really liked this movie a lot.
So I got to be honest, and I'm ashamed to admit it. I kind of thought like the premise of this was something like a demonic Freaky Friday. That's what I thought was going on based on what I saw in 2009. So it was nothing. It was nothing like what I expected, and it's for the better.
I mean, that movie exists now, and it's not bad.
No, Freaky was a freaky. Yeah, that was an entertaining film.
Yeah,
that was entertaining. I'll give it that for sure. So I'm at a 5 when it comes to the story here. I thought it was unique, unlike anything I've ever seen. I'm a 5.
Same. I'm hitting that 5s. Bruh.
Yeah.
Same. This is obviously a perfect movie to me, except there is one flaw. We'll get to it. Yeah.
So
we'll get
there. Now I'm curious. All right. So jumping into character arcs, Jessica, you want to tackle the character arcs first?
Okay, so we're following Needy mostly, and we're seeing everything through her eyes. And she starts out needy. That's just her name for a reason. And she's, the less popular of the two best friends, and lets Jennifer walk all over her. And by the end of it, she's a demon slayer. So I would say there's quite an arc for her there. And Jennifer as well is kind of like, I'm not gonna call her stupid, but she's a little bit of an airhead. She's a little bit of her, like, she doesn't, she cares about boys and music and having fun and that kind of thing, and being provocative, because she's intentionally shocking. I think Jennifer behaves in an intentionally shocking way to get a rise out of people. She says a lot of Like, I'll go play Hello Kitty with the bartender. Like, she says things like that. And then she goes from being, that girl to a fucking demon eating boys. So clearly her arc is there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you think about what her home life was like prior to her becoming demoness.
Well,
didn't have her act like that. Like, holy shit.
Mom is single and dating, so there's something going on there. Usually when girls are like that and they're that sexualized, and I think Megan Fox has talked about this, because nobody else at this point in time could have played this role. Nobody else could have been Jennifer, because of the way that Megan Fox was in the zeitgeist at the time. She was extremely famous. She was the hot girl at the time. And
Just
I think everybody
off the first
assumed
Transformers.
Exactly. And I think everybody assumed she was an idiot. And then she wanted to make this movie. I don't know. I got lost in it all, but the character of Jennifer, there's something intrinsically linked with Megan Fox herself. And I think that alone makes the movie kind of fascinating if you're just watching in a metaphorical what Hollywood did to Megan Fox kind of way.
Interesting.
So there's layers upon layers that were not even intentional. If you go back, you can analyze it from different directions. It's a very interesting point, because seriously, who the hell else could have been Jennifer?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened to Megan Fox and the way she was demonized and ripped apart and treated like she was just her body. And it all coalesces here in Jennifer's body, I think.
And I think even commentary on how they marketed this film and the message of the film itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was a disconnect there, because the movie's kind of commenting on that, and yet that's how they advertised for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that. Yeah,
and they said they did a tour recently, like a anniversary tour or something, where they were talking about the movie and the making of the movie. And they said that when they were making the movie, they knew that the studio was going to do that. They knew the studio was going to make a big deal out of the kissing scene and put it in the trailer and make it be about Megan Fox hot. So even while making the movie, they knew they were going to do this, which sucks.
Just hyper-sexualize the trailers and focus on her. Yep. And you get that. I mean, there's great arcs in this film for our two main characters. Jennifer literally goes from the popular girl to, which I don't think I'm reading into this too much. It's definitely there. Did they give an age for Jennifer?
I don't recall.
I think they have to be 17. I don't think these are supposed to be legal adults.
Yeah, they're still in high school, so they got to be at least like 16, 17, maybe 18.
Yeah.
Which I think the whole point of Chris Pratt's character
God.
to be that Jennifer is prey. Older men are preying on her, even though she's very forward. But from Needy's comment, it's probably a result of trauma, and just how she's coping. But she literally goes from prey to becoming the predator in this film. And as I think that is like, it's very subtle, just that little bit about Chris Pratt's line in there. Like, they're underage and they sneak into a bar, and he clearly knows they're underage, and they're clear that they have a relationship. Jennifer says later that they do, but he is clearly an adult and about to become a police officer. So he's a cadet, which I'm not sure exactly what age you need to be, but he's drinking, and so you assume that he is at least over 21. So there's some very subtle stuff going on. And I love
Jennifer.
that.
Jennifer flat out says, "I'm not even a backdoor virgin anymore, thanks to Roman." So that's pretty extreme for a 17-year-old girl, but it's also what I expect from a 17-year-old girl who's fucking a 20-something guy. Like, they think that they have to do all that. Like, that's why guys in their mid-20s date teenagers, is to get them to do things that they probably wouldn't do if they were 25 and knew better. So,
and I appreciate how this movie didn't come out and like shove it down your throat necessarily, that's that this is a predator prey situation going on.
Mhm.
It is, but it's there. They gave you all the pieces for an intelligent person watching to be like, oh, she is the victim in that situation.
Mhm.
And then it flips where she starts to become the predator on all the men. And I think it's a great arc. I was hooked. And then I don't know if I can get too deep on like her becoming the predator part of it, where she starts taking the revenge on the men. But Needy herself goes from the timid friend, the shy,
Mhm.
I don't want to say the ugly part, but like,
She's Amanda Seyfried.
well, exactly.
It's very.
Beautiful.
If you took off your glasses and pulled down your hair, you'd be beautiful.
Yes, they're both like, they pick two gorgeous people to play these parts, but they play as if Needy is kind of the ugly of the two, the less desirable. But in the film, there's never a question about if Needy's a virgin. That wasn't. I noticed that when the guys went up on stage, I was like, they're questioning Jennifer, but not Needy, which I thought was interesting. So it's never there, but she goes from this timid friend to confronting her best friend, who is becoming a monster. You know, this is just surface level because I saw it 1.5 times.
No, you're 100% accurate on that.
but they're good. They're well defined arcs, so I got to give it credit there.
And it's as someone who's well versed in girl politics, it's very accurate of how teenage girls treat their best friends and treat, you know, each other in a horrible way. And like I said, Jennifer's bitchy to Needy even before she becomes a demon. And Needy needs to break away from her because she's letting Jennifer run her life. Like, she made plans to hang out with her boyfriend. Jennifer says jump, Needy says how high. By the end of it, she's stabbing her in the chest. And she's realizing that Chip is the one that was important to her. And now he's dead. Yeah.
So, man, I agree with the assessment about Jennifer, but at the same time, you could tell she knows how to weaponize her sexuality to her benefit.
Oh, yeah.
Predator, like prey to predator. She still has her own sense of predator even prior to becoming, you know, demon infested. She just seems to get herself disillusioned by this shitty band because they're from the city. Ooh, ah. You know, it's really ridiculous, but it's trope there, you know. Needy though, man. It sucks to know that she's been dealing with that shit like her whole life as quote unquote friends, you know, and like it's so weird because they've got like that weird connection, you know, and it's almost got kind of like a Nosferatu kind of essence to it, with the kind of link that they've got between the two of them.
Yeah,
you know, you notice that like when Jennifer is kissing on Chip and Needy's at the dance and she touches her lips, like Chip, you know, like holy shit, like she feels it, like as part of that connection. It's crazy, you know. So there's some amazing stuff with these characters, dude. But I still feel shitty for Chip though, even though he kind of like just seemed like a dude who's just hoping to get laid and like kept having to wait, I guess. But he kind of died not a virgin-ish. So
See, you had a completely different take on it than I did. I did not think that the sex scene with Chip and Needy was their first time.
No, I didn't either.
So I think that they had been going at it for a while, and Jennifer makes the Thai food comment. So I think that they I think the both.
Oh, he did say more condoms, so okay.
Yeah,
so yeah. It just seems so awkward between them. Like,
no, I just think they're awkward.
It was played up for comedy.
Okay, yeah,
all right. Yeah. I took it as that was played up for comedy, but that scene is uncomfortable and hilarious at the same time.
There's some decent side characters too, like as far as B characters, like the band itself. It's fun to see them trying to like achieve their hopes and dreams through being fucking pieces of shit by murdering somebody, and then finally seeing them get their comeuppance at the end after like rising to fame and stardom, and boom, you know, Needy on the scene. Oh man, so happy, and I was just like, it was one of my most favorite parts of Needy's arc was her finally getting the band at the end. Sorry, spoilers, whatever. But dude,
Yeah.
oh man, I was just like, yes, motherfucker, hack and slash
So
bitches.
I thought early on in the movie, I was like, oh, Needy and Jennifer are going to team up and take out the band. Like, I thought that was going to be the climax of the film, not take out each other.
That
But
would have been cool.
it was still cool to see Needy kind of grow into her own self, become her own person and do it. Jessica, I had a question that maybe you can help explain.
Yes.
Jonathan was talking about that Nosferatu connection that they had. And I've heard this is cut from the theatrical version. I don't know. And I have no idea why this would work, but why do they have that connection? The only thing that I could establish was that because Needy sucked her blood as kids in that sandbox scene. But I'm
like they did a lot of weird stuff as kids.
So I'm just like,
I'm just saying, it
yeah,
seems like that.
They can play boyfriend and girlfriend.
I have never questioned it ever, that she like touches her lips and thinks about like what's going on. I've never questioned this because they just seem like best friends who know each other way too well. You are underestimating teenage girls and how entwined they get with their best friends. If they have a friend like that, if they have one best friend, it gets crazy. It's even if it's non-sexual, which this is a sexual relationship, but even if it's not sexual, it's still like acting out a marriage half of the time, and it's dramatic. And girls, like, that's how girls learn empathy and how to, do all of that kind of thing and rehearse kind of. So being completely like just like wrapped around your best friend all the time is totally normal. And when you put teenage girls in that situation, they become hyenas.
Okay.
I have seen tons of best friends that were completely like sisters that eventually just completely destroyed one another and just don't even speak anymore. Because at some point you got to cut it off. And I think that's the kind of the metaphor with Jennifer. Jennifer's a little bit of a shitty friend. Yeah, they've been friends forever. Yeah, she's in love with her. Yeah, she loves her, but she's not good for Needy and never has been. So to me, it's always just been like best friend magic.
Like, Needy just standing up against her in the first place, just telling her no and get out of her house, standing up for herself. Yeah. That was still pretty awesome moment of development for her to be like, I'm sick of your manipulation. Fuck off,
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. It was just one of those things that I was watching. I was like, did they establish why? But it makes sense. And yeah, I gave the character and character arcs for this, I gave it a 4.
So I'm at a 5.
All right.
I obviously gave it a 5.
All right, we are already on.
Ooh.
Did we skip one, or are we on the best category?
Arguably, we're on music sound.
Yeah, we're on music and sound design for this.
Yeah.
And this is where the flaw is.
Oh no!
I want to build up to it. So you talk about it because you're Mr. Emo Man.
Okay, yeah, no, this. So weirdly enough, I heard the song written and performed in this movie for this movie before I ever saw this movie.
Yeah, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about that part. Talk about the actual soundtrack. I have things to say about the song. Okay,
I was just going to say, like, that song was circulating among my friend group in 2009. I'd heard it.
It's one of the best. Yeah, no. Fine. I'm just going to go there. The song that they play at the end of this movie is not Jennifer's Body. The song they play at the end of this movie is Violent. Oh, so can you please explain to me why we name the movie Jennifer's Body and we use a different song? I'm actually a huge fan of the band Hole. Huge. I listened to that album every single day for like 5 years. I was obsessed with that music. Courtney loves Lunatic, but I was obsessed with Hole. I love them. Love both of those albums because they have 2 like really, really good albums. And Tastes Like Candy is actually a Hole lyric. And when I came up with it, I was like, Jennifer's Body did it. Why can't I? But yeah, I don't like that. I've never liked that. I do not like that at the end of the movie they play Violet, even though Violet's a better song. And that is my
That's
rant.
fair. I
Right
think
on.
that is a reasonable complaint for somebody who, I don't know that I've actually ever spent that much time listening to Hole in my life. I'm talking about the Through the Trees song that they sing.
Oh, fucking annoying. God, dude.
So that Low Shoulder, the band from the movie, sings this song Through the Trees that I swear my friends played for me because I knew the words when it came on, and I was like, I didn't know this was from this movie. I just think it was on some playlist or mixtape somebody gave me way back in the day when you would burn a CD and pass it to a friend.
That's awesome.
I am pretty sure it was on there. We also got some of my favorites, old. Well, I shouldn't say old. I love Panic at the Disco, except their final album. Their final album was garbage, but everything else is good, even if it changes genre. But we got New Perspective, great Panic song. We got some Paramore in there with another custom song for the film. We got, I believe, All Time Low's in there.
Yep.
Florence and the Machine, I know, is in there.
Cobra Starship is in there.
Yes. And
Dude,
Florence
Silver Sun Pickups.
Yep. So in Florence and the Machine, I've seen live. Like, that's how much I love her. And she's incredible live. But the soundtrack is stacked with early, what do you call that? 2009-ish, 2010-ish emo alternative anthem type bands that, man, I was just loving that whole vibe of this film because it's what I listened to. Cute Is What We Aim For was on there. Dashboard Confessional, I believe.
Yo.
So, and who was, I'm trying to remember the song that played when I said it was my favorite scene was from, I'm trying to find the track list.
Oh, the
I've got it in front of me. If you need me to quote anything for you. Yes.
It was the heaviest song on there.
That was The Sword. Fucking doom metal, dude. That favorite scene you're talking about, I know exactly what you mean. The shot of the pond, Jennifer swimming naked from that back shot, and that fucking song, Celestial Crown, just perfectly fit. So hardcore. And if you know the band The Sword, they have very artistic album covers. And when Jennifer comes out of the pond, she's got the smoke off the body and the kind of pose that she strikes fits in really well with some of the type of artwork that they have, which I think is by Richie Beckett. Amazing artist, does amazing album covers for so many bands, but a lot for The Sword. And that was just like one of the most choice music moments in the film for me, man. Oh, so good.
Okay. So
Sorry.
that was great. That's actually not even the one I'm talking about still.
Oh, no.
I am talking about when she kills the football player and we first get on that scene. There is some hardcore screaming from It Dies Today. I think it's the song Sacred Heart. Either that, I've heard of the band It Dies Today, but it's telling me that it is the band Sacred Heart playing the song It Dies Today. And I think that's backwards information. I was like, yeah, I know It Dies Today. So this music, and on top of that, the score for the music, not only is the soundtrack just kick ass from every single song, the score itself is awesome. I'm not sure it's super memorable on its own, but unless I am thinking of like instrumental tracks that were from bands that are just placed there. But I was like, the score itself is kind of that alternative emo, grunge, metal, rock, whatever genre you want to call it. All the people who get finicky about specific genres. It's just that kind of music throughout most of the movie. And the movie also uses it in the film. Like, it leans into that. Jennifer has a Fall Out Boy poster on the wall. It is the crux of the story going to see the local indie band at a show. Like, the music is as much a part of the story in this movie as it is just the soundtrack. They even the lead singer of the band, what is his name?
Adam Brody.
Adam Brody. I know him as Dave Radelsky. He even says a joke about, like, the only way to make it is if you get on some lame soundtrack.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like that kind of self-referential joke and commenting on, like, yeah, they got a kick-ass soundtrack for this movie, and they make that joke. I'm also just working on the theory. I'm watching Gilmore Girls with my wife because she wanted me to. And I just think this is the unofficial story of what happened to Dave Radelsky when he leaves Stars Hollow and breaks up with Lane and is no longer in the band.
I know just enough about Gilmore Girls to know what you're talking about.
So the lead singer of Low Shoulder is in a band with Lane from Gilmore Girls, and Lane and the whole band is like the only storyline I care about in that show. But because also the lead singer in that is the lead singer of Skid Row from 1989 and the 90s. He's in Gilmore Girls. Yes. He is a regular member in Gilmore Girls, but he's in Dave Radelsky.
What is going on in Stars Hollow?
So the lead singer of Skid Row actually replaces Dave Radelsky when Dave Radelsky leaves to form Low Shoulder and go to Jennifer's Body. So it's the unofficial timeline of what happened to Dave Radelsky when he left Gilmore Girls.
He just became famous and evil.
Yeah, he and his band started a new band. I think he played like worship music for Lane's mom because she's super religious. So it just makes sense that he went off the deep end, sold his soul to Satan to make his band famous, causes all this drama. Anyways, that's my comment on the music and sound of this film.
They are intertwined also because the whole thing is kicked off with an emo band. Like, it is an emo band that does it. And if you are familiar with the history of what was going on around that time in the music industry and like Warped Tour and stuff like that, this kind of shit was happening in real life. You had very young girls getting onto tour buses of dudes that were like 22 and drunk all the time. Yep. So it's very easy to put Jennifer in, like, see the parallel between real life. And I have to imagine Diablo Cody had that in mind. Like, she thought about girls who were groupies, and I don't know if she was aware of the amount of access that those particular kinds of guys had to these girls, but some of those emo bands were pretty icky, to say the least.
I think we know more now than we did then, but it was definitely, we know now that it was happening more than we did know then, but it was definitely happening. Like, it's definitely too close to home on that one. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the music and sound design.
I don't have much more to say. I already went on my rant about it. So,
I'm a 5 on this one.
Same. 5.
I'm still a 5, but I'm going to remain forever bitter about that choice.
About the closing track.
Violet was a single, and it's a much more popular song, so that's why they picked it. I understand it, I just don't like it. It just, the symmetry needs to be there. And Jennifer's Body is actually kind of a creepy song too, so it would fit very well.
I just love it's a music heavy movie with good music for the most part. I resonate with that so hard.
Yeah.
See, I read that the themes of the movie are based on the song Jennifer's Body by Hole. They just didn't use that song.
Yeah, the choruses, they found pieces, like the pre-choruses, they found pieces of Jennifer's Body. Like, she repeats it over and over and over again. There's like debates about what it's actually about. Somebody like Courtney was known for being really weird and jealous about Kurt Cobain, obviously. And he dated other musicians while and before dating Courtney. And there's one, can't remember if it's Mary Lou Lord. I don't remember which one it is, but there was some girl that was like cool, popular alt girl grunge in that region, and she had written a song about a woman that had been trapped or something. And then Courtney was like, "I can write a song about a woman being trapped," and that's, you know, they found pieces of Jennifer's body. Just relax, just go to sleep. You're hungry, but I'm starving. He cut you down from the tree. He keeps you in a box by the bed, alive, but just barely. So I've never like seen direct, but it's definitely the same like vibes as the song.
Right on. A fun whole side fact. Their former bass player, Melissa Off DeMar, went solo and has amazing music. Holy cow. Definitely check out her first album, man, because that got me hooked hard. That's such a good album. So good music. Ooh.
All right. I think we're on to editing and special effects.
Hot damn, yeah.
We're moving pretty quickly here. There's really not much to complain about in this department. Yeah, the mouth, when we see it briefly, doesn't look great by today's standards, but it's also fine. Like, it doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, it's not laughable like some CG.
Yes.
And that's why it's great with the editing part, because you only see brief moments of it, so you don't have to focus too hard about it.
Yeah, it's very quick. And for just about everything else, it was pretty practical. Everything was practical, and it looks really good for the special effects. It also, just the editing. I mean, and I watched the unrated cut, the longer cut, and I had zero issue with the pacing. So that is one thing I saw online, was that some people thought the theatrical version was paced better, and I had zero issue. It didn't lose my interest at all. I'm not going to say I was on the edge of my seat, but I was definitely invested in the story and where this was going, and I have no complaints here.
Thoughts, Jessica?
I agree. I have seen both. I don't think there's anything wrong with the unrated version. I do prefer the regular version, just because I've seen it. I think possibly just because I've seen it so many times that if I watch the unrated version, things stick out and they kind of like throw me off, and that's weird to me. But it is very zippy, and it's like one of those movies that there's always something happening. It doesn't give you a second to like breathe too much, which can be bad or it can be good. I think it's done well here. And I think that Diablo Cody is the reason why, and her script is the reason why, because she doesn't allow in the script, she doesn't allow there to be crazy extra space. And like, I think that she's changed as a writer, because I follow her still. I think she's changed as a writer, and she gets a little bit more like pensive and gives a couple of minutes to breathe in a scene. But here it's just like bam, 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 and it's fantastic, and I love it.
I think that works for this type of movie. The bam, 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 bam.
It should be. You shouldn't have a horror comedy that's slow.
Yes.
So I watched the unrated version like Tim, so I'm not sure about the comparison as far as the editing goes. I liked, and it kind of ties into direction a little bit. I liked like the counterpart balance of what's going on with Jennifer and then what's going on with Needy. But I think that those scenes of the back and forth transitions of that with the editing, they maybe could have cut some of those a little shorter. Some of them felt a little too long for me, I think. And then the part where Jennifer is luring Colin out to that construction house. Like, some of that just, it seemed kind of long with him jumping around through the house, blah, 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 blah. It took a little too long to get to the point of what's going on there. But otherwise, I liked it for what it was. And like you guys said, the pacing was really good otherwise. Special effects, you got some good blood and gore. You know, you got some other scar stuff. You get to see Jennifer all hacked up, body limbs. You know, it's not much of a close-up for what you'd like to see more if you're into seeing more gore. But it's there long enough at a distance that it still looks pretty good. And like the few scenes where you're seeing like that football player dude laid out and seeing how his guts are splayed out and everything and all opened up, that looked pretty cool. I thought that was really good on the effects for that part. And with like, it seems maybe kind of wire-ish, but it's still cool seeing like Needy floating towards the end there with the demon powers and everything that she's got now.
I thought that scene. Oh, not even Needy, the scene of Needy attacking Jennifer in bed when they
Worth levitating in the air, yeah.
when they levitate. I thought that was super well done.
What about where she's like Jennifer's levitating though in the pool area in the overgrown place where Chip dies? Because they have her kind of hanging up there, and it's like
she's just hovering. It's not that impressive.
yeah.
Yeah, but I thought it worked.
That's what Needy.
It worked.
That's what Needy. No, that's what Needy says to her. That's what Needy says.
Oh.
To her. It's like she's flying or whatever.
That is, I'll get into that on script. I'll get into that on script. But yeah, no, I thought all of those scenes worked really well.
All right, so then scores up.
I'm actually a 5 on this.
5.
Boosh.
I'm a 5.
Trifecta.
Okay. So taking us to the script, on to the next. The script for this movie. Jessica, do you want to kick this one off?
Sure, it's the best. This is I think where the whole movie comes from. I don't think if the script, because I've read it, I think if the script were like worse, if it wasn't as good, this movie wouldn't be what it is. I tend to think early Diablo Cody, when she was super quippy and coming up with like, there's shades of Juno in this. It goes a little too far with the moveon.org needy and a couple of the other things where it's just like, no, we don't have to do that in every single sentence. She's more balanced about that now. But other than that, the actual script itself, I think, is just freaking incredible. I think it's paced perfectly. I think that it's very subtle. There's so much going on here, and you have to pay attention or you don't see it. I listened to a podcast where they talked about this movie for 2 hours and never talked about how gay it is. And they were still talking, like they never scratched the surface on that, but they still had plenty of insight and things to talk about. So like when she wrote this, she did that on purpose. She does subtle things like that. And I think that adds to the story and makes it richer and makes it like, it's a very finished world that we're watching. And that's because of the script. She did that. This is an Academy Award winning screenwriter. I mean, she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Whether people like Diablo Cody's writing or not is fact.
I just like how we're talking. So we're coming up on about a year ago that we've recorded the 2018 Black Christmas. And this is one where I just watch, like, this is a movie that had feminist themes and queer themes in the movie. And I never once felt like it was preaching or beating me over the head or doing anything blunt with it. It's there and it's written really well. And like you said, you can talk for 2 hours about this movie and never touch on that, because that's what good writing is. That's what good writing is. It's there and you can talk about it. Certain people are going to pick up on it more than others necessarily, but that's the power of a good story, is that there are multiple layers to it. There's multiple ways for the audience to see it. Even if the story itself is clear, those underlying themes and those tones and those messages are conveyed subtly. And that's the difference between 2018 Black Christmas and this film. This film is beautifully written. Like, and not just beautiful as in, I loved that dialogue at the graveside. Like, is it a little cheesy when the mom, what did she say, Jonathan? You quoted it.
Oh, for which part?
I've got the something.
Oh, yeah, I've got the monopoly on pain when she's talking to the goth kids.
Dude, I thought that whole dialogue.
No, it's great.
Tore the fuck up.
Yeah, it was
great.
So good. I was like, well, I'm not going to ABC this. That works so good in this movie, because this movie has established this kind of quippy, serious yet funny dialogue. And that makes that delivery work, because is it a little bit silly? Yes. Is it also heartbreaking? Yes. And it works. And did I chuckle a little bit? Yes. But also when she said, I have the monopoly on pain, I was like, oh, damn. Like it was good. Yeah. And when those kids are being the emo kids at the side, I'm cracking up. I think it is so funny.
It was
I
goofy as shit. Jeez.
it was so good. I told my wife when I'm watching it, we were watching it together, and I said probably about 75% of the way through, I said, this is a movie that I think gets funnier every time you watch it.
Yes.
So I picked up on that because I was like, first watch, you're kind of testing the waters. You're seeing what this is about, what's going on. And I started to laugh more as the movie went on, even though it's listed as a horror comedy. I started to realize like there were certain things that we laughed at immediately the first time. And it just grew. Like the line about what kind of math Chris Pratt takes because my wife is a math teacher. My wife is a math teacher, so we laughed at that because it was funny. She got that, but there's also those subtle bits of darker humor that I thought like it's silly, but I thought it's funny when she was like, I spent a lot of time at the occult section in the library, and he's like, our library has an occult section. It's small, but it's there. Like, I think those things are funny. This script worked for me. It probably worked for me more than Juno's did, but that's because
definitely.
It's a little darker. It's darker. It plays with that. It's a little bit more. It's not afraid to offend. It just says it and is unapologetic about that. Mm-hmm. But it's played with the characters and it's played for humor. And I was dying. I thought it was so funny. And I think it's funnier on my half rewatch while it was on in the background. I caught other things that I was laughing at about again. So I think it's a script that grows on me that also balances serious themes with dark humor really, really well.
Aside from the mom's domination on the goth kids at the funeral, it's awesome because you see those kids again later at the dance where they're coming in through the balloons, and the one girl is like, this is my life, and this is a Texas, and blah, 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 popping balloons. And then the other girl, this is your abortion, this is your other abortion. And the girl is like, I fucking hate you, or you're such a bitch, or something like, oh, and it ties into that viciousness that you were talking about, Jessica, when it comes to girlfriends. And it's like, holy shit, man. I was like, that was savage as shit. Oh, it was amazing. There was a lot of good lines throughout this whole thing with the dialogue. Dude, it's pretty good. So many good shots in there.
Even the goth kids are almost completely removed from the theatrical version.
Oh,
that's a shame because I love them.
They are great.
Well, another reason to watch the unrated version, everybody, so you can see that part and be like, damn! Oh!
When they were popping the balloons, I laughed out loud. I thought that was so funny. And even like, man, it's inappropriate, but I thought it was so funny. And this is one of those lines that was inappropriate and funny, but kind of played as a little bit of commentary on the characters and the situation. But when Needy and her boyfriend are in bed and he is like, am I hurting you? And it was kind of played funny based on what's going on, but there's also layers to that thing that I'm just like, he's
a little proud. He's a little proud when he asks it.
It's goofy look on his face is just grin shit. Like, oh, like, dude, you're not beating it up that hard. Calm down.
Yeah. So I think there's layers about what the movie is commenting on, the humor and all of that right there in that scene. And I think it also goes to show you that never mind. We'll move on to that scene.
What bothers me though with the script though, like the use of the word salty, the way she used it made me cringe a lot because for me growing up, if you were salty, that's you being shitty and fucked up and not a good thing. But her using salty, like, oh yeah, that guy's so salty. Oh, I'm like, dude,
That's the Diabloisms that I'm like, we didn't need that. We didn't need that. We didn't need to invent. She makes fun of herself in the movie Young Adult. I don't know if either of you have seen that. It's really good.
No.
It's very obviously based on her life after Juno and this movie came out. Charlize Theron plays a young adult author who writes something very similar to Sweet Valley High, and it's being canceled, and she goes home, and it's a big mess, and it's an awesome movie. But she is in a bookstore at one point, or no, a coffee shop. I don't know where she is. She's just in public, listening to two teenage girls talk to one another and jotting down the stupid shit they're saying. So Diablo herself has made fun of herself for the kind of dumb shit she puts in movies. But I did have salty written down here as one of those things where I'm like, ugh, and moveon.org. Moveon.org was another one. There's something really similar to that in Juno. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's too much. It needs like 5% less.
I didn't catch either of those.
Oh.
I didn't catch either of those.
But then some of it is great when Jennifer says she's lime green Jello. Like, that's amazing.
Oh, that's so lame. But that's kind of thing between like two best friends and shit.
Yes.
There's gonna be like super lame shit like that. I've had so many dumb things that I've said like that between some of my old like best friends from high school and my best bros back in Illinois. It's one of those things, like, it's so cheese, but that's just life.
Okay.
What?
It's I'm an emo kid. I got the emos.
Oh,
not dead water bottle. Yeah.
I was like, are we cheersing? Like, I've got tequila.
No, I got the emos not dead water bottle. All right. So did we give our numbers?
We have not.
I was a 5.
5.
I went 4.
Okay. That's fair.
So acting then, can I want to say something first.
Go.
So being in 2009, being 18, 19 when this came out, I was just becoming an adult at the time. Megan Fox was at the height of her, whatever you want to call it, the zeitgeist.
Stardom-ishness.
I thought she was only getting roles because she was hot. It was this movie that I watched that I said, she can act. Mm-hmm. I watched this movie and I was floored by the layers that she brings to this character. I'm like, shame on me. But to be honest, I really only ever saw her in the Transformers movies. I don't think I saw her in anything else. I
think that's fair because I had the same kind of impression of her until I saw the movie. I just saw the movie when it came out versus you seeing it now. Yeah. But I didn't see Transformers. I wasn't into any of that kind of stuff, so I didn't know who she was. She was apparently in like Disney stuff too. I think she was in Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen.
Okay.
She had done some small things, but I thought she was just an idiot. I thought she was just some hot actress, and then I saw the movie. I was like, oh no, that's not the case. And if you hear her talk, she's very intelligent. She's very funny, and she's very self-aware. So she knows like how she is perceived, and I don't think she necessarily likes it, but I think that she deals with it.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So I like I said, nobody else but Megan Fox could have played this role because she had that going on at the same time. If people had watched this movie when it came out, I think that she might have had a very different career.
I would agree. Just the scene at the ritual, like I felt her pain. I genuinely, when she's sitting there crying after the whole thing, well, not after, but like it was good. I was amazed, but also her comedic timing in this movie was impressive because you can have comedy scripts that don't work because your actors don't know timing or your director doesn't know what to do with the timing.
I think comedians do better in horror movies than just about anybody. So I think that whenever you throw somebody who's funny and has comedic timing into a horror movie, you're not just getting the funny person, you're getting like there's something else there that they can capture and be weird about and be a little creepy about. And I think that's why it works for Megan. I think she's funny and she understands how comedy works, and she knows when to turn it up and when to turn it scary.
Yeah. I think like one of the scenes that I was like, wow, her timing was great was when it shows her in the van with the band and they're talking about like, oh, she's a virgin and she's pretending and she's like, yeah, I don't even know how to do the sex. You probably, like the timing of it, the delivery of it, all of it worked. And it was funny. Her timing throughout the whole thing. I was surprised by Megan Fox. I did not think, I'm surprised to say this, I did not think the acting would be stolen from Amanda Seyfried, but I thought Amanda's great. There's zero complaints about Amanda, but Megan is who surprised me.
Megan has more to work with too.
Well, script wise or
yeah, like she's got a lot of stuff going. Needy is pretty much just needy and then becomes our hero or whatever to stop the whole thing. Jennifer is really going through it, and you like, I genuinely think in the scenes where like in the kitchen right after Jennifer's been attacked and she's in with Needy and she's like creepy and vomiting black stuff, I think Megan Fox is terrifying in that scene.
Yeah,
I really do. I think she's very unsettling in that scene. So she had that, and Amanda really didn't have that kind of thing to latch onto. Hers was more being the, like, if it's a comedy, she's more of a straight man.
That makes sense. And so, yeah, that's all I have to say. I just wanted to say that I was genuinely impressed by Megan, and it made me, watching this made me wish her career had taken a different trajectory. Because I'm sitting here watching this with my wife and I was like, what did she even do after this? So she was huge in like 2007 to 2010. And then I couldn't tell you anything she's done in the last 10 years. And my wife was like, well, I think she's a mom now.
Ninja Turtles.
Yep.
She got blacklisted. She got blacklisted by Michael Bay. So she could not work. She couldn't get work for a while. And then she's had a couple of little like rebounds. She had a really great run on New Girl. She was a substitute roommate for a while whenever Zooey Deschanel was out on maternity leave, and she was really fun on that. And she's kind of a badass, and she's kind of really she basically plays herself in everything that she's in, but that's fine because everybody loves the bitchy hot girl type thing. But she has a very tumultuous relationship with Machine Gun Kelly. And then she has kids, and then she was been in a few, like, she was in the new Mortal Kombat movie.
Oh, was
she briefly appeared on the show overcompensating as a hot poster of herself.
Expendables 4.
Yeah.
Like the action genre. Yeah.
Oh, she was in Expendables 4. I don't think anybody saw that movie.
I don't think so either.
No, I didn't. I have no idea. I just know she was on it. That's it. Yeah.
There's a movie called Till Death that she was in where she plays a woman who is handcuffed to her husband's dead body. It's, you get what you expect you would get out of that movie. It's worth throwing on if you're really, really bored, but it's not amazing. But it's fun to watch her be like, oh, I'm trapped with this guy, and try to like escape being murdered. But
did you see her in Jonah Hex?
No. Who saw Jonah Hex?
I did. I saw Jonah Hex.
I started Jonah Hex and I did not finish Jonah Hex.
That's a cool movie. Finish it. Oh, come on. Man.
I'm really sad Michael Bay blacklisted her because I do remember her in Turtles. They weren't the greatest Turtles movies, but I kind of love the Turtles.
I think Turtles is when he allowed her to come back and do something. I think he brought her back specifically for Turtles. Like, he unblacklisted her for that. She made some comments about like, I don't want to have to wash a car in a bikini in a movie, and he didn't like that. And I think that's where.
Well, that's Michael Bay for you, but totally fair of her to request that.
Yeah. But it's not just Megan that's got amazing acting, and there's a great supporting cast. We got Kyle Gallner, we already talked about. We got Johnny Simmons as Chip. This was right before he did Scott Pilgrim, which is another good rock band movie.
Mm-hmm.
J. Jonah Jameson is in it.
Yes.
J.K. Simmons, my guy.
almost unrecognizable. He came on and I was like, that dude looks a lot like J.K. Simmons. And I was like, oh,
well, he played Juno's dad. So they brought him over for this movie. Then Amy Sedaris.
From Strangers with Candy on Comedy Central back in the day. That's where I know her from, but I think most people now would know her from being in the Book of Boba Fett.
Who?
Amy Sedaris. The mom. Needy's mom. That you don't see much of hardly in the whole film.
Yeah.
I wonder if her mom, I think there might have been a lot of stuff with her mom that got cut too.
But her mom is hilarious.
Yes. Amy Sedaris is hilarious.
Just that little scene, like at breakfast table or whatever. Well, it's 4:00 in the afternoon. But mom is waking up to eat breakfast. And she says something about her dream, but then she refers to Jesus as JC. I just thought that was so funny. I thought that was hilarious.
If you know who she is, it adds layers, and like what her comedy is, it adds layers because she's a comedian, but not in a traditional way. She's real weird. Her brother is David Sedaris, the writer, and their whole family is bonkers, but in a good way.
Yeah. I just want to comment on J.K. Simmons here because he was hamming it up with his claw hand.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, geez.
Also, I thought it was so funny. After the football player dies, he's talking to the class and someone starts crying and he turns around to the tissues with his claw hand, not his real hand, and hands it to him. I thought that was so funny. But also, in that little monologue, do you think he was sleeping with the Spanish teacher?
Oh.
I never got that impression, but maybe because that sounds like the kind of thing she would put in a script.
He goes through we lost this person, and then he gets to the Spanish teacher and starts choking up.
Huh, I did not notice
he
that.
starts crying a little bit, and I was like, either it's the this many bodies getting to him after the fire, or this dude was sleeping with the Spanish teacher, because there was some emphasis on the way he delivered that one. I just thought that was like one of those subtle, this is a living, breathing world. These characters are doing things beyond this moment kind of scene that I thought, whether JK brought that or that was written into the script, I thought it was clever and I liked it. We ready for the scores on acting?
I was going to say, man, I know I've seen Adam Brody in some stuff. I just don't remember right offhand what it was. He's always played big parts.
He is Seth Cohen. He's starring on I think he may have just won an Emmy.
Really?
He is currently married to Leighton Meester from Gossip Girl, and they lost their home in the Palisades fire recently.
Oh, that sucks.
But both of them have really thriving careers. He's on a sitcom on Netflix with Kristen Bell.
Yeah, nobody wants it.
And I think he got nominated or won for that show.
Okay.
But no, he was like Mr. Heartthrob back in the day as well from the OC, because he was like the cute nerdy guy.
Yeah.
And then he's been used in stuff a couple times. He's used in this movie and he's used in Promising Young Woman, because he has that nice, sweet boy persona in the other things he's in. He's got that persona in Gilmore Girls too, doesn't he? Isn't he like wholesome on Gilmore Girls?
Oh,
because
yeah. He's basically the same character that he plays in this movie, minus the Satan worship.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's such a nice guy, and they cast him in these roles where he's playing evil, because he's playing evil in Promising Young Woman too, and he just shines because you don't expect Adam Brody to be worshiping Satan or almost raping someone.
Yeah, right.
It's really effective.
Contrast.
It's really effective whenever movies do that.
He was in Scream 4 and Scream 5.
Oh shit.
He was in Shazam recently.
He was in Shazam?
Yeah, he plays one of the superheroes, like when the boys transform. He plays one of the superheroes. And he was in Ready or Not, which is a great film.
He was really good in Ready or Not.
Ready or Not's fantastic, yes. But he's one of those guys that's in just about everything.
I think he's really well liked, so he gets hired a lot.
I mean,
seems like a nice, likable dude.
Yeah, he seems like a likable dude until he sacrifices you to Satan to further his career. So.
Right. The dude who played Colin, though, Kyle Gallner, man, I remember him from some stuff. He was like in the 2010 Nightmare on Elm Street, but I remember him from way back when he was in the movie Wet Hot American Summer.
He was in Wet Hot American Summer?
Yeah, so he was
Bobby's
buddy, so he's credited. Yeah.
As one of the kids? Oh, I did not know that.
It's a goofy-ass movie, but definitely worth watching.
Oh, I like the Netflix reunion of that, where they all came back as like 40-year-old adults and pretended they were still teenagers. So dumb, it's so great.
It was a prequel, and they were still teenagers.
It was so good.
Crazy shit.
But Kyle's a full-on Scream King now. He was in the Smile movies. Last year he was in Strange Darling, which is fantastic. He's constantly working, and he picks really good projects. So
I need to see Strange Darling. That's on my list.
Yes, you do, and don't let yourself get spoiled.
Yeah, I won't. I'm not seeing anything about it.
With J.K. Simmons, have you seen Whiplash?
Oh yeah, we just watched Whiplash not too long ago.
Dude, that movie's so freaking intense, man. It was so weird seeing him play such a light role in this movie in contrast to that. I was like, man, what? Kind of threw me off for a sec there, but it's still cool.
He was in Whiplash. He was jacked in Whiplash because that was around the time he was filming Justice League, and he was jacked for that role too.
They made him get jacked for Justice League.
Dude, the dude lost.
Everyone's having jacked for Justice League.
Have you seen the photos of jacked J.K. Simmons?
I don't know if I want to.
It started. Oh, it's impressive. It's impressive. I'm like, the dude's 60 something, maybe 70. I don't know, but he got ripped. But anyways, on the acting, I am surprised, but I'm a 5 on this because I was impressed.
Also a 5.
Also a 5. It's not horror movie acting, it's real acting. They hired real actors in this movie.
Yeah. Definitely.
The kids felt like awkward, goofy fucking high school kids.
Yeah. My wife said watching it, she was like, the boyfriend, Needy's boyfriend, I don't know his name. I barely remember Jennifer and Needy.
Chip.
Yeah. So I'm so bad with names. I'm incredibly bad with names. It's awful. It's awful watching movies and it's awful reading books because if you introduce too many characters too fast, I have to have like post-it notes. Anyways, my wife is watching it and saying like Chip is the only one who looks like a high schooler in it, even though he is the same age. I was like, to be fair, I thought Amanda looked like a high schooler a couple times, but Chip did look young, and I was like, Bailey, I think it's the emo kid haircut they gave him made him look like a baby. It looked like a baby.
I think that was his actual hair. I don't think that was just for the movie.
It's what was in. It's what was in then.
A Bieber Bob.
Yep. All right. Direction. I am deeply saddened by the fact that this is the director's only film.
Oh. Okay.
At least
she works on something else though. There's something she's
Karen Kusama.
No, she's done other stuff. She's working on Yellow Jackets right now. She's directing episodes of Yellow Jackets.
That's right.
Yeah.
What was I thinking? Who? Man, somebody I just saw. It's the only film they've done. But you're right, because
did she direct the Eon Flux movie? Yes, she did.
Oh shit! Oh, cool.
No.
I was definitely wrong.
No.
Who did I look up? Maybe I looked up. Diablo Cody has only directed one film.
Yeah, Diablo like dipped her toe in for like a second and then went back to producing.
Yeah, she writes. She doesn't direct. But yeah, no, Yellow Jackets. I love Yellow Jackets. It's a great series. She directed the Outsider TV series, which was an episode of that, which was also a great show. And The Man in the High Castle, also a great show.
You say Yellow Jackets, and it makes me think of the found footage series I was talking about at one point on YouTube, Marble Hornets.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You ever seen that, Jessica?
Yes, but I remember absolutely nothing about it.
Okay. Creepy high camera footage.
Yeah, I know what it is. I just can't picture anything about it, or yeah, but I do know what it is, and it's freaky.
Yes, I found very entranced by it for a while. Yeah.
Early internet like horror things that people were writing and putting out there on the internet and YouTube videos from the early days.
Creepypasta and stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff used to be really fucked up and like fun.
Dude, some of it's still really good. I watch a YouTube group. It's two people called Creepcast, and they go back and they read like old creepypastas and stories like that from the heyday, and they go through and they tell the story again. And some revisiting some of it, I'm like, man, some of this stuff's messed up. Some of it's stuff is really good. And then you hear stories that you're like, oh yeah, that was turned into a movie a couple of years later. But yeah, Karen Kusama has actually directed quite a few things, and foot well in the horror world. She's gone out of it, not firmly in the whole horror world, but she does a lot connected to horror, and she's good at it. This movie looked fantastic.
Oh, it's a gorgeous movie.
I've enjoyed the crap out of how this movie was directed. And this is a movie that I think balancing your comedy and your horror, you either get it to where it works or this movie's a total failure. And it works in this film. I think it has to be your type of humor to necessarily appreciate the humor. But even if you didn't find this movie funny, it still works as a movie. It's not one of those like a bad comedy is a bad movie. But if the comedy doesn't land in a horror movie, it can still be an effective horror movie. And in this case, I think it does work that way. I think even if you don't necessarily like the comedy, it's not your cup of tea, the dark humor, the story is still engaging and presented in a way that is still engaging. I was genuinely surprised. I think watching this just in general, I was surprised that I haven't heard more about this movie throughout the years, that it wasn't a bigger deal when it was released. Because I remember seeing The Case on the family video shelf at my local family video and thinking that my mom would kill me if I brought that home. But I remember it being out, but I don't remember anybody talking about it. And I'm surprised because I can't find much to complain about in this movie. And I think that a lot goes to Diablo Cody in the writing and a lot goes to Karen understanding the script and translating it to screen beautifully.
Right on. So for me, man, it's part of it. Like I said earlier, the way they transition back and forth between what's going on with Needy and Jennifer in those counterpart moments, I thought was a great way to kind of push the story throughout some of those parts in the mid. But Devil's Kettle itself, how they took Devil's Kettle and kind of threw that local lore part of it into the story, I thought was really awesome. It makes me think about the story for Mel's Hole. Have you ever read on that one or listened anything about it? Check it out, Mel's Hole. It's a very interesting story about a hole that has no bottom. It's got, seems like metal rimmed, like lining at the top, but like makes no sound. There's no sound within like close range of it. People have done experiments trying to put stuff down, bringing stuff back up, and just like weird, odd things that are happening and weird, like mutated things that come up from what they put down in the hole. Like they put a lamb in there, came out, gave birth to some weird twisted thing. There's a whole big thing about it, but it makes me think about with Devil's Kettle, that aspect of this mysterious place where there's a hole where like water flows through. They don't know where it goes, where it ends, and using that as part of a device for the story. And then how the band, after you see like Jennifer's hacked up and she doesn't know what's happened to her, doesn't know how she got back. And it kind of like they leave it open. You don't see them do it, but it leads to them disposing of her body down Mel's hole. And not only is she a failed sacrifice who's been filled with the spirit of a demon, but Devil's Kettle as its own thing has reassembled her, it seems like, aside from just being, this demon-infested person. And I think that's really awesome. that they use that in that way. And then at the end, when Needy escapes the asylum, she walks by and you see those scientific balls that they were dropping in to try and see where it leads to. And it's like, oh, here's where Devil's Kettle really exits out. And then you see the knife that the band throws away after the sacrifice. And Needy finding that and then using that to exact revenge was just amazing for the direction, that part of direction, man. So gotta love local lore and shit like that and how it comes about in good ways.
It's the whole Chekhov's gun thing where they show you, if they show you something in the beginning, it's going to become important at the end.
There you go.
When they showed the scientist throwing it down the hole, I was like, that's going to be important. That's going to come up later. And I did appreciate how it wasn't like essential to the main plot. It was like a nice little nod that she's going to kill them with the same knife they used on Jennifer. It was
like, that's a hot sacrifice knife. Like, oh, okay. Yeah,
it's a hot sacrifice knife, and he's like, it's a Bowie knife.
He's like, Bowie. It's kind of a Beavis and Butthead moment there. It's great.
I don't think that's in the theatrical version.
No?
It's not.
Man.
So,
it's not
ringing a bell. It's not ringing a bell.
Sad, so many people might have missed that then.
She's also a master of, I think everybody kind of knows what the male gaze is. It's like, oh, Megan Fox hot. Let's close up on her boobs. Karin Kusama does the female gaze really well. And I think the best way to explain this is the scene with Jennifer when she's walking down the hall. The one I'm talking about is the first one when we first meet her and like Needy is like, what's up, they're like, what's up, Monostat, Vagisil, whatever. She's walking down the hall and Needy sees her and she's at the center of the screen. She is the world. And that is how Needy views her. She's still the hot girl walking down the hallway, but it's through Needy's eyes. And all of these scenes with Megan are not done in a Megan Fox boobs kind of way. Even when she's naked, she's pretty well covered by her hair. In the scene where she eats the football player, and it's a lot of like, it's shot to evoke a lot of emotion and humanize the characters in a very specific way. And I think she's a master of it, and she does it throughout this whole thing because she's gorgeous in this movie, but if you're walking around thinking Megan Fox hot, you're just not paying attention to the film.
Seriously.
But the way that Needy looks at her and the way that Jennifer is shot through, the camera uses to be Needy's eyes toward Jennifer, that's another one of those things that's like I was not in love with my best friends in high school and college, but when I met each of them, it was in a hallway at school. And both times I was like, that is the coolest girl I have ever seen in my entire life. I need to be her best friend immediately. And at both times, that's what happened. And to be fair, my best friend from college was like singing show tunes in the hall. So it's not a Megan Fox kind of situation. But it was very much that. And she nails those kind of things very, very, very well. And you can see it throughout the whole movie. Like I said, like the best friend magic type of thing. They really nail that down. And the visuals play so well into that. Yes.
Yeah. I gave the direction a 5.
4.
5.
Okay. That takes us to the it factor, the cultural significance of this movie. I've kind of already hinted at mine, so if someone else wants to go first.
I'll go ahead and knock mine out of the way real quick here. I don't really know how much, it factor is, like any kind of like the relevance. I haven't seen any movies that I'm not sure if there are, how many there are since this movie came out that follow similar themes or same kind of like plot set, whatever. So, I mean, yeah, it's great how it lends like a new aspect to the horror genre and how it kind of creates a whole new thing, like you were talking about, Jessica, with bubblegum horror. So it is kind of like sets itself that way by kind of opening up the genre for other possibilities that way. Not very succinct, but yeah.
It depends on what time period we're talking about. If we're talking about when the movie came out, maximum I'd give it a 2. I think the most that it did was have people going, "Oh, Megan Fox, she's showing her boobs on the cover of a movie poster." Like I think that for a lot of people, that was the only reaction they had about this movie, even if they even knew about it, because I don't think a lot of people even knew it existed. Now, it depends on what corners of fandom you're in and where you're seeing things. A lot of, like, Olivia Rodrigo has a Jennifer's Body reference in one of her videos from her first album. You have people like me writing novels where I'm intentionally trying to copy the feel of this movie and then put it on paper and see if I can do that and try to infuse whatever's going on there in a book. Like, people are out there that have been influenced by this thing and are producing a lot of new stuff. And then you have a lot of people that are like super, super, super excited about the idea that there might be a sequel. I'm not into that idea. Whatever. If they want to do it, I'll watch it 100 times. But people are really into the idea they might do a sequel. I can tell you that every time I reference Jennifer's Body, because I like repost stories and stuff that have references to Jennifer's Body, I get people messaging me back being like, I love that movie so much. I sent out copies of the new prologue of Tastes Like Candy to people that requested it, and there's a Jennifer's Body joke in there. And my editor was like, should that be in there? Are people really going to get this? And I said, anybody who knows that movie is going to love that. And I will have them as a reader forever because they know that I am their same taste. Because I don't know, Jennifer's Body is just one of those movies where if you're in, like I said, certain corners of fandom, certain corners of the internet, girl internet, gay girl internet, and then the girlier ends of the horror spectrums, it's like revered as one of the best movies of all time. And I feel like more people are discovering it every single day. So I had no problem leaving a Jennifer's Body joke in my book because it influenced it, and people should know about this movie if they don't. Mm-hmm. So at the time, 2, nowadays, I'm going to say it's more like a 4, honestly. But not amongst everyone. I think that it very well could get a sequel. If they kept the budget low, I think it could do well. I think it would go straight to streaming if it did happen. I don't think it would be. I don't think that they would take the risk to put this in theaters again. I really don't. But I don't know. Diablo Cody tried it again with Lisa Frankenstein. I think Lisa Frankenstein was last year. It didn't hit for me the same way either. So she's still out there trying to do this, and Lisa Frankenstein is also bubblegum horror, but it's not this. It's not this at all. So at the time, almost no significance. Now, for some people, it's like it's the Mount Rushmore. It's on the Mount Rushmore of bitchy teen horror girl movies. You've got Mean Girls, not Mean Girls. You've got Heathers. You've got Jawbreaker. You've got this, and you've got Ginger Snaps. And those are the horror bitchy horror movies that are all bubblegum horror that all lean into this, and it's my favorite thing in the world. I love this style of film. I love really girly stuff that is also super fucking violent and kind of gross.
I would have to say I'm between. Well, what did you give it, Jonathan?
I'm at a 3 on it factor.
Okay. That's where I'm at. And that mostly comes from I'm low, like Jessica said. I'm low if I look at when I was 19 and the movie came out, because I was aware of it, but didn't hear anybody talking about it. It was more, I saw it at Family Video. I saw it on the shelf. I saw posters for it, and it just didn't look like it. Definitely, the advertising definitely leaned into that kind of targeting male, because I definitely thought it was more sexual than what we got. And I was like, I don't want to just watch like a hypersexualized horror movie. It's sexual
in a creepy way. Like, I don't want to, they come off as teenagery enough that I don't want to watch them doing any of these things.
Yeah. Well, and I think I was looking at it as that movie Bad Teacher with Cameron Diaz.
Oh God.
Yeah, because even the posters are somewhat similar, except one is a teacher and one's a student. And just, I I had that impression of this movie. And that was a totally wrong impression. I'm saying that now after having seen it. But that was the impression the marketing in 2009 gave the teenage me. And so it was of very little interest to me. And now, years later, having watched it, I've definitely seen more and more talk about it. And I see how this has influenced other things, including your books. I see the connections of the vibe, that atmosphere that's created in this film, and seeing it replicated elsewhere. And that bubblegum horror, that's what I'm going with, bubblegum horror, is something I really enjoy because I do kind of get sucked in if my wife is watching something drama, romantic, whatever. It does suck me in. I get like, oh, this stupid person's back with them, blah, 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 blah. So like that little bit of it sucks me in. You add the horror into it and you have something I love mixed with something that gets my attention. And now I'm here for it. And so this movie works for that. And I see its influences. I'm glad we're talking about it. Hopefully somebody finds this and will be encouraged to go check out the movie now. I want to see the theatrical release now, since we've talked about there are some differences to it. I want to see that one, but I quite enjoyed the unrated version of it. But I'm at a 3 for the it factor. So that takes it to our final enjoyment out of 10, which I don't think we're going to vary too differently on this one. We're all going to be pretty. Jessica, do you want to tell us how much out of 10 you enjoy this movie?
I'm going to give this a 10 out of 10. If you want to know how much I enjoy this movie, talking about how much it influenced me, I'd also like to point out that Diablo Cody and I are very similar ages, so we grew up watching a lot of the same things and have a lot of the same influences. So the things that are in Jennifer's body that are in other horror movies, I know where she got them from. So I'm not talking about that. But like when I'm sitting there reading Taste Like Candy, working on Taste Like Candy, the world of Taste Like Candy in my head looks like Jennifer's body. It has the cool blue lighting behind the girls. It has the, like, the killer in that movie, in that book, it reminds me of Jennifer in the movie a little bit, where she's coming unhinged and she's very pretty, but she's starting to get ugly. Like I have the aesthetic of this film in my head when I work on those books.
And I just reread it.
You have to read the new one. It's so absolutely bad.
You sent me the new one.
Did I? Did I send you the one? Okay.
Well, I had you sent me like a reader version of it. Yeah.
Yeah, it has the prologue attached to it, because if that's the case, that's probably like the most finished version that people have read it. But yeah, that's what it looks like inside of my head. Taste Like Candy to me looks like Jennifer's body with almost Terrifier level gore. If anybody is ever curious what's going on in my head when I'm working on it, that's how I feel. So I just love I always keep the movie running in the background whenever we do these things. And we're at the scene they're at the pool and Jennifer's about to murder Chip. Everything is like green and growing, like mucky, like gross. And it's just a gross pool. But it's beautiful to look at.
Yep.
So it's gross, but it's gorgeous. It's like the whole movie. The movie is gross but gorgeous.
Yeah. Jonathan, you want to go?
Yeah, I'm a 9, dude. I like this movie a lot. The music made it great. The actors did really wonderful. Great story. Definitely something I would recommend other people to watch, and I'm down to watch again. Yeah, this movie was so much more than I thought it was going to be. Like I said at the beginning, man, it's just I had a totally different impression, and I was impressed by what I got versus my own brain being goofy. So yeah, 9s, bro.
So I am actually, Jessica will be happy to hear this. I'm actually attacking the film. So you were right.
And I knew you would be.
You were right.
Jessica's always right. It's my curse.
It speaks to my little emo kid heart. Like, I love that part of it, really sells it for me. I think if we took away the soundtrack, and honestly, I don't know how I feel about the theatrical version because you said the emo kids are cut from it, and they're one of my favorite.
Yeah.
Like, they're so tongue in cheek, hilarious. I lash onto them immediately. They are cliche emo kid funny. I love them. But this is one. So I normally try to score it after my first watch, and then on second watch, kind of formulate my argument a little bit more. And sometimes that second watch, I'm just like, man, I do not want to watch this again. I do not, even if I like the movie, I'm like, I just can't, I don't want to put it on right now. And that's happened. I mean, most recently it happened with Children of the Corn. Did not want to rewatch that. That's coming up in Halloween. By the way, if you're listening to this, last week's, I'm ashamed to admit it, spoiler alert, also for Halloween, I did not want to rewatch the Blair Witch Project to formulate my arguments for it. I didn't. So that's a spoiler for my scores on that one. But this movie, I'm like, I need to put that on again. I want to put that on again. I'm going to put that on again. It's just I'm super busy, so it was background instead of focal point. But I was looking forward to watching this again. I was surprised I enjoyed it as much as I did. And that's mostly because of that initial impression it gave me all those years ago. Was not like this was something I would necessarily love. And it's so much better than whatever marketing at that time was doing. It's definitely worth the rewatch. It reminded me of, and you're kind of talking about it with Diablo Cody, and kind of her writing in that time was a big deal in movies. And I'm watching this and I was like, man, this reminds me of like the high school level drama stuff that we used to see with some of the stuff in the 80s that really stands out and is favorites now in the horror genre. They balance those dynamics with the horror really well. And this stood up with those to me. I can't think of any examples off the top of my head because I'm tired.
This movie is extremely influenced by Heathers. And Heathers was a satire on Breakfast Club, Pretty in Pink, and that's why this movie plays like that, is because Heathers plays like that because it's a satire of those movies. This is influenced by Heathers, so it also plays like that. That's why my writing is like that. My writing is the way that it is because of Heathers. I write teen comedies, but there's murder involved, but Heathers is the backbone of everything. That every word that I write, Heathers is the background of it.
I was gonna make the John Hughes comparison, but I didn't. Anytime I see high schoolers written realistically, I go to John Hughes first. That's the Breakfast Club comparison, like you said. That's what I go to because I feel like it's very hard. Disney Channel does not write high school kids realistically. So I can't say, oh, it's a very High School Musical of it, because it's not. But this is an updated version of that. This is how I heard people talking to each other in 2009. I get it. So, yeah, I was actually a 10 on this movie. So our final scores then. We are ready for the final scores. Jonathan?
45.
45. And Jessica, you don't need to do any math on yours, do you?
It's whatever -1, because I did take away 1 for it factor. What's the max?
49.
Yeah, 49.
49. And I am 47 -3. So, Jonathan, you were...
45.
Okay. That makes our average of 47, which would round up to a 5-star movie. Wait, no, it would round down to 4.5. I'm not good at rounding. My wife tells me this all the time. I'm not good at math. With 47 round up, I think it rounds down because it's 1 away from 5, but it's 2 away from 7. So yeah, I think it's 4.5. Anyways, 4.5. We need some other final scores in there to break that average and get a better idea, because I am not good at math. So, final thoughts, Jessica, your final words on this. Tell people where to go
Like
pick
I
up
said,
your final version of Tastes Like Candy. Tell them where to get that too.
well, like I said, this movie imprinted on me the second I was sitting in the theater. I knew it was going to be something that hit me. And if you enjoy Jennifer's Body, there's a decent chance you're going to enjoy Taste Like Candy as well. It's got a lot of the teenage best friendiness, a lot of the best friend magic, a lot of the really nasty teenage girls doing horrible things to one another. But I also have a lot more gore. So, um, but no, this is just a fantastic film. If you enjoy it and you don't know anything about bubblegum, immediately go watch Ginger Snaps, because it is a perfect if you're doing a double feature, Ginger Snaps is the perfect movie to do a double feature with. If for some reason you listen to all of this and haven't seen Jennifer's Body, but you have seen Ginger Snaps, same thing. Perfect. Go for that. And this is a thriving genre. Go seek it out. Look up hot pink horror, look up bubblegum horror. This is not the first movie by a long shot, and it wasn't the last movie, and there's all kinds of stuff out there, but nobody is grouping them together. So I guess that's probably going to be my next crusade.
I like it.
The phrase bubblegum horror came up in a marketing meeting for me, so I think it might be like me running around screaming, please go watch Ginger Snaps now.
I think you need to corner the market on bubblegum horror and just start the whole thing. Start the whole thing.
Start
Jonathan,
tag and everything.
You have final thoughts? Or are you ready to read us out?
Hold on.
Jessica, did you tell us where to get your book?
Taste Like Candy is available for pre-order everywhere right now. It comes out September 9th. And if you would like to request it from your local library, that is a good thing for you to do, because you will be able to do that for the first time with my books ever. Very exciting.
I'm excited to the library. I need to go request it at mine, even though I need to read it, or even though I've already read it twice. I just want it there on the shelf. So
thank you.
I need to go do that.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, Jonathan, you ready?
Yes, sir.
You just see it show up?
Yep.
Okay. And that's going to do it for this episode of The Average. Huge thanks to Jessica. You might know her as Ivy in the past, but she is now Jessica Lacy, and you can find her on Instagram at Blood and Lacy. Thank you for joining us and bringing your insights on this one.
Thank you for having me.
Always a joy having you on. And if you haven't already, grab a copy of her debut horror novel. It's haunting, beautifully written, and full of that sharp, visceral energy that you heard from her today. We've dropped the link in the description. Go show that book some love.
It's always a good time revisiting movies that were slept on when they dropped, and Jennifer's Body is the poster child for that. Misunderstood, mismarketed, but still it endured, and maybe even more than that, it has evolved into something well-loved.
What hit differently this time for me is how Jennifer's Body looks at trauma, friendship, and what happens when people stop listening to girls unless they're screaming. There's power in that, and rage, and blood. So much blood.
And maybe that's what makes this movie so timeless. Not just the killer one-liners or the demonic body horror, but the way it lets female anger take up space. It's unapologetic, it's messy, it's cathartic.
If you've got thoughts of your own, and we know you do, drop them in the comments, DM us, or better yet, join us live for next month's episode. We want to hear your rating, your hot takes, and your most unhinged Jennifer Check quotes.
Until then, keep your earbuds in, your knives sharp, and remember, sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones who were just hungry, lonely, or betrayed.
Stay spooky, everyone. See you next time on The Average,
where the real review happens with your friends.